Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode in our Meet the Venture series for the BLAB 2020 cohort. Today, we're here with Aridity Capital's founder, Eddie Uong. So, to start us off, Eddie, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
I'm Eddie Uong. I'm the founder of Aridity Capital. I'm a rising senior at Brown, class of 2021, double concentrating in econ and history. And I actually did have a co-founder named Devin Collado. He graduated 2020. Congratulations to Devin. So he's going to be starting work full time soon. And he was a independent concentrator in economics and enterprise. And even though he's starting full time, he's going to be, he helps out when he can.
That's really good. It's always good to have a team, right? So, why don't you tell me a little bit more about Aridity Capital?
Most people, when they think of the stock market, they think of the Wolf of Wall Street, or they think of mansions and millionaires. They think of just kind of like obscene wealth and trading. The reality is the stock market is really one of the greatest creators of inequality that we have in our society, and a lot of people know this or they suspect it. And it's one of the reasons that 2/3 of Americans, they don't think that markets are fair. um, Large reason for that is that markets are largely inaccessible for the people who can really benefit from it the most. And Aridity Capital is addressing that. So we are the first financial service organization. We're trying to make markets work for Main Street by providing an investment fund for low-income investors. Now, like, what does that mean? That means providing downside protection. That means professional money management. That means paying out dividends. And kind of the key here is that we're operating as a nonprofit organization. We're not trying to drive up fees or commissions. We're not trying to make a profit for ourselves. Our goal is our mission, and our mission is to make markets work for people who've been excluded from them throughout its history.
Well, that's a very noble pursuit. And when did you know you wanted to start your own venture in the area?
Last spring, I was taking sustainable investing. So my co-founder Devin was my TA, and I wrote up the concept for Aridity Capital as my midterm paper. And when I finished it, he and the professor, Carrie Krasinski, they kind of encouraged me to try to kind of make the paper a reality and see, if we could implement it. Um, and so like after that, they encouraged me and they helped me apply to, B Lab, and also to a couple of other kind of fellowship and accelerators. And I've kind of been working on it since then.
Well, it's great to know that you have been applying what you learned in class outside and into your own venture. So tell me a little bit more about why this problem is so important.
Yeah, so the really what the problem boils down to is that it's really hard to get ahead in the US. Like if you're a low income or middle income family, it's really hard to get ahead. And most people have no savings for an emergency. Like the statistic that's cited all the time is that from the Federal Reserve, 60% of Americans don't have $400 for emergency. And a large reason for that is that, it's the exclusion of low income families from the stock market. And so the problem is important really for two reasons. So for one, it's that the stock market is a creator of wealth, and excluding, low income families from that, excluding them from an avenue of wealth creation. And the second is that it creates inequality not having people in the market. So right now, if the market goes up, like if by some miracle the market goes up 20% and finishes the year there, that's going to create a lot of wealth for the people in the market, but it's going to leave everyone else behind. So getting families into the market will not only help create a safety net and help create wealth, it's also going to close the gap between the richest and the poorest in society.
And are American low income families your target market?
Yes, yeah, they are. So it's specifically like I'm looking at low income families. Right now we're kind of using like the capital gains tax brackets as our target. So like under US tax code, certain, like if you make under 40,000 for a single household, your capital gains tax rate is 0%, and they have different values for kind of different tax statuses. And then also kind of targeting families and individuals that don't have like retirement accounts or IRA accounts or other kind of like well managed avenues to get into the stock market.
That sounds great. And what or who inspires you?
I think really for me, it comes down to like my home family, my home community. So I started working on the idea, the last spring when I was in the course with Devin and with Carrie. But I really started having the idea when I was in high school. So I was a full scholarship student to a private high school, and it was there that I kind of first realized the differences between classes, and I first saw kind of how different wealthy people live from my home community, and I also saw the occupations of a lot of my classmates and my new peers who were in, a lot of them were in investment banking, they were in investment management, they were in kind of this space that no one from my home community, none of my friends or family had ever experienced before. And when I first saw the stock market, I saw, this tool for wealth creation. And most people, when they think of the stock market, they think that you're actually investing in a company. You're really not most of the time. If you invest right now, if you go buy a share of Apple, Apple's not getting the money. The only time a company ever gets money for issuing shares is at their initial public offering. But after that, really, the money you buy, the money that you put into a stock, that doesn't go to the company. So really, the purpose of the stock market and the secondaries market is wealth creation. So I was looking at in high school, and I saw that you have this tool that's the main goal is wealth creation. But then you also have this need that I certainly had, and that many of my family had, that my community had, for that same wealth creation, for income creation. And I was just thinking in high school, like, why is no one putting this together? Why is no one putting together this tool to create wealth and create income and create savings with this community that has this high need for something that can create wealth for them, create income for them passively?
Well, it's great that you saw a trend and now you're doing something to fix it. So, what are you working on right now?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot right now. And if anyone out there is interested in helping, I'd love to have some more help too. Yeah, so we have a lot of balls in the air right now. Essentially, one of kind of the main piece right now is we're doing customer research. So we're trying to interview as many low income families as we possibly can, and ask them, are they in the stock market? If so, if not, then why not? What are the barriers to entry? And then on the flip side, what are their needs or goals for entering the stock market, and how can we really create a portfolio that is creating the maximum benefit for the goals of low income investors, who will have very different goals and very different circumstances than wealthier investors. And that's something that most money managers aren't taking into account, especially kind of big institutional money managers. They're not creating investment funds for the needs of low income families. So that's something we're really trying to talk through and trying to answer that question. On the flip side, we're also kind of working on getting ourselves incorporated officially as a nonprofit. We're working on putting out a website. And we're also working on kind of talking to money managers and kind of other professionals in the space, especially on the ESG side, to see, how to structure a fund like this, what to expect from, so to answer a lot of questions on kind of the money management side.
Well, that sounds really great. And what is something surprising that has happened so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that I've been doing a lot of research personally on the industry to get to know the space that I'm in, and I've been surprised, honestly, at the ways that attempts to solve this problem, attempts to solve the issue of exclusion in the stock market, they really have been either ineffective or profit driven. And I think the reason there really haven't been any truly disruptive ideas to get families into the stock market. And that has been kind of surprising to me because, like I said, this is an issue that if you address it, it has kind of a multiplier effect on inequality and on kind of on poverty in the United States. If you can get people in the markets, you can get them to create wealth, you can get them to create savings, and you'll also be reducing inequality. You'll be closing the income gap. So it was interesting to me getting into this space to see that no one else had really tried to get here before me. Other people hadn't been in the space before and really hadn't put forward any really kind of innovative ways to address this issue.
Well, we're glad you're innovating. So tell us how B Lab has helped you achieve success for Aridity Capital.
Yeah, no, B Lab has been absolutely amazing for advancing Aridity this summer. I mean, to start with, just in terms of like connections and people to talk to, Jason Harry, the director of B Lab, has already personally connected me to a couple money managers that I've been able to talk to and pick the brains of. And, that's had a secondary effect of they refer to me to like, oh, like I have, 3 or 4 friends in the space who would love to talk to you. And being able to pick the brains of some of the top people in the field and make those connections has been really invaluable to kind of advancing my venture and doing that research. And kind of on the flip side of that, it's also been like amazing to be kind of around a cohort, it's been slightly different virtually, but around a cohort where everyone's doing really cool, really interesting work, and to be able to hear about the other things that people are doing and to hear about the issues that other people are running into, and to talk about like, oh, like I'm having those same issues, especially as a solo founder, like, there's kind of, or someone going through this like out of a solo founder now, is there's unique issues that you face, and be able to talk that through with other solo founders. It's really energizing, and it really helps kind of build momentum for your venture. So I think B-Lab has been really helpful in providing resources and providing people to talk to and preparing you for those meetings, but also in providing momentum, like getting you ready for this big pitch. It's like, I guess the way that boils down to is, when we first got into B-Lab during orientation, Jason said, now you're in B-Lab, you're in the big time, whether you like it or not. And I think that's really been the case, that like once you got into B-Lab, like this is real, and that's really exciting, and that builds a lot of momentum for you. And I think that's really been the impact that B-Lab has had on me. I've been like, wow, this is real. Like I can do this. I can take this far. I can build this up. I can get other people excited about this, and other people want to help out. So I think, it's been amazing.
Well, I'm glad you were able to enjoy this opportunity as much as we did. So before we move on to our final question, is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I guess in closing, I'd just like to kind of put out there again, say thank you to the B-Lab staff, you, Jason, Liz, everyone else in the B-Lab staff, for putting together an amazing summer, even, though it's virtually, even though there's a pandemic, even though there's, racial protests going on throughout the country. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, and you guys have put together a really good summer and really help support the cohort. And also, if anyone out there listening, is interested in either hearing more or helping out or has ideas, I'd love to talk. And, you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out.
Well, we'll be sure to share our email with the podcast so people can reach out to you directly too. So tell me, as a final question, what is the latest TV show you've been watching during the summer?
Oh, it's actually called I May Destroy You on, I think, HBO.
Care to elaborate, or like not really?
I mean, I'd rather people get curious and go watch it.
Well, that concludes another episode in our Meet the Venture series for the B-Lab 2020 cohort. Thank you, Eddie, for meeting with me, and thank you all for tuning in. See you next week.